Terence Bud Crawford delivers the unfortunate news. Errol Spence fight he's not worried about is history. We're going to talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Make sure you guys click the link in the description to get TUBEBUDDY. TUBEBUDDY is a browser extension that has a ton of original content, docuseries, documentaries, past fights like Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez, Mayweather versus Pacquiao, and more. Get the link in the description. Get ESPN Plus. You can do it as a standalone app, or you can get the bundle, ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, all three apps for one low price of $12.99 by clicking that link. Now, Terence Crawford was in attendance to support his friend and stablemate Maurice Hooker in the Virgil Ortiz fight, and this is what he says. Quote, "I'm not even worried about Errol Spence no more. I already told everybody that fight is history for me. I'm not thinking nor worried about Errol Spence anymore. That fight is behind me." End quote. Now, he said this on the DAZN telecast. He says he's not even worried about it. So at this point, the good news for old media who keep pushing that fight and saying Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford, and see, this is the thing. Old media keep pushing the fight for ulterior motives. They're trying to act like they want to see the fight, but they don't do this for other fights. Like they're on DAZN, it's just a really anti-Heyman program, anti-black fighter program, and I'm here to tell you all about it. When it comes to Top Rank working with Al Heyman and PBC to get Spence and Crawford done, people act like, old media acts like they're all for it. However, Top Rank had in-house fights or even fights with one particular Top Rank fighter and a non-Top Rank fighter in the past, and you never seen this level of backing. For example, Vasyl Lomachenko, a Top Rank fighter, he could have and should have fought Mikey Garcia, who was a free agent who used to work with Top Rank but left because of a problematic relationship or whatever, and he had a legal battle that lasted like 3 years. So why didn't we have the same energy for Lomachenko and Mikey Garcia? But yet and still, Crawford and Errol Spence, similar situation, different promotional sides, and now that Crawford has exhausted all of his real options that meant anything as far as his side of the street, now all of a sudden you see old media pushing for that fight incessantly. But now with Terence Crawford saying, forget about it, I'm not worried about that fight. Now keep in mind, he said this in the past and he hasn't really stuck to it because he's brought up Errol Spence after. I remember he said, I'm not worried about Errol Spence or something to that effect to Miss Boxing Baby. He said that Errol Spence needs me, I don't need him. I've done more than he has in his little career, etc. And then he did an Instagram live, and I think he had like a black shirt on, and he started talking about the upcoming, at the point, Danny Garcia Errol Spence fight. So now we don't have to worry about that. Terence Crawford has made his bed, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. It doesn't look like the fight was getting closer. Crawford's been kind of boxed out, if you will. They're building Errol Spence and making him into a household name. That's the mission. I've told you, Ego Stradamus predicted this was coming, and now I think Terence Crawford is feeling the ramifications from it. He's hearing and seeing the backlash because he can't get the big names, and now it's starting to amount. Because you notice Errol Spence, he hasn't, see, when you're in a position of power in terms of leverage, you don't even have to really speak on it. Errol Spence ain't really dropped much on social media since January this year. So since this year began, you haven't even really heard from Errol Spence. He's kicking it with his girl, kicking it with his children and family and friends and stuff like that. But we haven't even really heard much from Errol Spence. But it's Terence Crawford who has constantly had to, explain his level of competition and who he's fighting and things like that. So it is what it is. Crawford says the fight is history, then is a dead issue because you have to have two willing participants. Now, this is, to me, I think Crawford's just overall discouraged and dejected because he hasn't been able to get his way. So he's just kind of over it. But this is bad news for the hopefuls of the Crawford-Spence fight because Crawford, it makes you wonder the mind of Terence Crawford, because they were saying that he would become a free agent in October, right? And now he's putting off the fight and saying publicly to anybody who would listen, I'm not worried about it. It's not going to happen. That fight's never going to happen. It's history, which he said in the past, but now he's continuing to say it. So I don't know who's advising him in terms of like PR stuff to put this out, but now it's going to look bad if he doesn't move on from the Errol Spence fight, or if he continues to bring up Errol Spence, I get at least on his own accord. But the downside is it makes you wonder the business mindset of Terence Crawford, because if you're going to be a free agent in October, and if you were to join forces with Al Haymon and PBC, maybe there's a way to salvage this fight. But this lets me know that Terence Crawford, if he sounds this jaded and kind of discouraged, maybe he plans on staying. I mean, I don't know. I can't make up the decision for him, and I don't know what he's planning on doing. But there's a possibility if he's saying the fight is never going to happen, it's over, then who knows what he's thinking in terms of what the future holds for his career. You know, a lot of people have pushed and urged him to go to PBC and Al Haymon, but with statements like that, it doesn't really give me hope and make me feel optimistic that that's what will be done, because he's saying screw the fight, basically. It won't happen, hasn't happened this far, and I'm over it. I've been a welterweight for 3 years. I can't get these fights, boom, boom, boom. So if he fights Sean Porter, I think that's a good fight. But again, I don't see how he's going to surpass, at his age, 31 or whatever, how he's going to surpass Errol Spence's branding. He's a little bit older than Errol. And even if you fight Sean Porter, you're mandatory. I think that's a great fight. However, Errol Spence already beat Sean Porter in 2019. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman already beat Sean Porter. So I don't see how you gain and surpass Errol Spence with these moves. And it makes me wonder what Crawford will decide come free agency, come October, if he's in the mindset of F that fight, the fight is not going to happen, and it's history. Because why would you be saying that if you were planning on signing with Al Haymon? Then maybe he could do something to integrate you into the PBC system. So I don't know what's happening. I'm just giving you guys the report and giving you my thoughts, but it doesn't leave me optimistic that Terence Crawford will join forces with PBC for certain when he becomes a free agent. If he's saying screw the fight, it won't happen ever. Let me know what you guys think. Use my link, get ESPN Plus and TUBEBUDDY. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.